We're back, everybody. Got a new little project tonight. KLX300. I got a Tusk rear luggage rack. And I already had a Moose rear cargo rack. So I'm going to show you the two of them. A little bit of the differences between the two. And I will show you what comes with the Tusk. And I'll show you how I get it on here and see what it looks like. Okay, both racks right there. Now that's the Moose rack, and of course you get the hardware with it. You have two mounting areas here down through your fender, and of course two through the seat bolts. Same with the Tusk. They give you the same mounting bolts down through where your tow pack would mount whenever your bike is new, and these go through where your seat bolts are right there. Now you can see a side profile. I already bolted the top plate and this lower bracket comes separate in the box. I already bolted them together. It has these countersunk screws with nylock nuts on the back. I already bolted that on. Now the top plate is aluminum. The lower bracket is steel. Now on the Moose rack, that is all steel. You can see the side profile here. You have these little tie down studs coming down to hook a bungee on. Now, I weighed these both on the scale. Both with the hardware come in right dead nuts at 3.8 pounds. So there's no weight differential between the two. You're going to have close to 4 pounds on your rear fender between either one of the racks. Here's the hardware that comes with your Tusk. You got these two bolts, two bushings, nut. They go down through the rack through your fender, and these are your two for the side mount, the bracket to into your seat mounting hole. Now these bushings here, if you have the stock fender, which I do not, the stock fender setup, you will take your tool pack off and use these bushings right there, and they're going to sit down in a little bit. I don't have the stock fender on here, so all I am doing is putting two maybe 16th inch washers on here, because if I would use these, the rack will be tilted like way up in the air coming off the seat, and I don't like that. I want it to basically be kind of level when it's sitting on the bike and the bike is on the ground off of the stand. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this installed. I want to do one more thing here for you guys. I'll get a tape measure if I can get this thing opened up and locked. Sorry about the camera. Okay. Here we go. That is hooked on the outside of the Moose. You guys can see that. That's about 16.5 wide. That's the front part of it. Toward the back, right there, you're at about 14.5 or so. Let's try to get a reading here. My tape measure's all screwed up. Been stepped on a couple times. Harbor Freight. Right there. That is about 9 3/4. Okay, now I'll go over to the Tusk. This one's kind of weird. You got some little points here and there, but hooked on. That's right at 9 in that little V notch. Up to the point here, 10. And on the width, on the front end, you're about 10.5. On the back here, you're about 9.5. And you can see you have on this flat rack, you got plenty of tie downs. I always preferred this rack. I use this bike for hunting. So sometimes I'm strapping a climb on tree stand on here, and I prefer this bigger rack. And I also have chainsaw. In some of my videos you guys may have seen, I take a chainsaw with me to clear trails. my chainsaw mount bolts on here really nice. I'm going to try to see how it fits on this one and see if I can use this, keep this on to haul the chainsaw. So we'll see. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and mount this up so you guys can see it, and we'll check it out. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you guys. You do get instructions with it right there. Pretty detailed, and they're actually for the KLX. You can check it out there. There. So, really good instructions from Tusk. I already have my bolts out up here, of course, and my seat mounting bolts out. You'll probably be easier if you have the stock fender on. You have a little bit of an easier time getting this down through. I'm having to jiggle it because I did not have my fender hole in this Meyer fender drilled out. To the size of these bolts and the size of the stock fender. I think I'm going down, there you go. Okay, got it. Well, so I may have to Alright, I forgot to show you guys. It does come with detailed instructions. 3 pages. Check it out. Okay, now originally, a few minutes ago there, I said I was going to just use washers back here because I did not have the stock fender. Well, I realize I'm going to have a clearance issue with these bolts laying on top of the fender, and you can't quite get these to line up without having the bushing in the back. I don't think I'm going to like the way the fender sits with it, but I think I'm going to have to use them. So we'll see here. Okay, those are down through. Got to slide your bushing in here on both sides. See if we can get these little bitches started. That one started. Got that started. I mean, I just don't like the way, I'll show you guys from the side. I do not like at all. This rack kind of follows the contour of the seat and shoots up in the air. And I absolutely hate that. I think it looks like hell. I do not like it at all. So, there's not a whole lot I could do about it. Maybe put a lower profile nut on here and I could drop that down some, but boy, I really wish that was laying flat. But I will show you guys here in a minute. I mean, I don't like that at all. I think it sucks balls. So I may end up going back. See, on the Moose, you have nothing here that interferes. This lays right on the fender. So you get a very flat profile on the bike. And it's really nice to lay stuff on here. What I will probably do is maybe try to find some bushings that are maybe an 1/8 inch smaller, but I may have to put some different bolts, I mean a different nut on here and maybe cut it off on the bottom there. Alright. See what size that nut is. That is a big bastard. That is a 14 millimeter. This hex is a 5 millimeter, and you'll need a 10 millimeter for that. And to take your tool kit off, I believe those are 10 millimeter nuts and bolts. I'm not sure, it's been a while. And you have 8 millimeter seat bolts when you take them out. Actually, that might be... Those nuts are underneath the fender are 13s. So I screwed up there, 13s. Okay, those are cranked. These are cranked. Okay, I'll show you this side profile here, what I'm talking about. I mean, some guys this won't even bother. They probably don't even think about it, most guys, but tired. See how it comes up off of the fender, whereas the Moose rack, see, this is up in the air. When the bike is on the kickstand, that's up in the air. See, the Moose rack lays relatively level and almost parallel with the fender that I have on here, and it's very flat. That, I mean, some guys probably even like that better, with the profile following the seat like that. I don't. I would prefer it to be flat. So I'm probably going to have to live with that with this rack. Let me show you how this looks now. Of course, it's not going to look the same for most people that have the stock rear fender on, but that's how it is right there. Check it out. You can kind of see how wide it is compared to the side panels in the rear fender. Oh, and I wanted to mention this rack, $109.99. Moose, $199.99. So, $90 difference from that to that. Same weight, larger profile, lays flatter on the bike above the fender. There you go. So I haven't tied anything to this yet or used it, but hopefully I can get the chainsaw bracket to mount on here, I hope. But we'll give it a go and see how I like that compared to the moose on there. Have a look at it. Check it out. Let's go from the front. Looking back, there you go. Any questions? Put them down below. I will definitely answer them. Get right back to you. Like, subscribe, get on your bike, get outside. I will see you guys and gals later.